हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं श्री चैतन्य कृपावरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुणं तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ मदना नंदेन मत्तालिका वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्रीजी कृष्ण कीर्तन दान नतल पर प्रेम निधि धीर धीर जनप्रिय पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरऊ भुवि हरा महंत रकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुवीर सुद सद सुदे सुरे सुतराज्य लक्ष्मी धर्मीश्च आर्जवदस जदगाद रन्ना मंडलस्नी सदा तुच्छब भूत्वा दीनगणे शतो करुणया मंडलपति शनि सदा तुच्छब भूत्वा दीनगणेश करुणया कौपीन कंठास्थितौ गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी कल्लो लमग्नं महा वन्दे रूप नंद सूना कुतः हे राधे ब्रज देविके च ललिते हे नंद सूना कुतः श्री गोवर्धन पादपतले कालिंदी वने कुतः।
Right this moment, there is a mad rush in America. Apple, Amazon, Facebook, dozens more.
पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं शास्त्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् स्वाद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादां सहगना ललिता श्री नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति सिद्धांता सरस्वती श्रीवासभानवी देवी गणिताय कृपामयि कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानं दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्य उज्जना प्रमाद्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा विद्यास्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विठ्ठलं नरसाम्बोधे पादाम्भोजाय ते नमः। नमः भक्ति विनदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति समूहाय रूपानंद मरायते गौरयाविर्भावभूमिस्थं नित्यस्या सज्जना प्रिया वैष्णवा सार्वभौमसी जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदानाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्नि गौरतिसे नमः। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्त्यावतारं भक्त्याख्यं भक्तशक्तिरूपकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पंगा मम मंदर्मते गति मत्सर्वस्य पदां भोजो राधा मदन मोहन। दिव्यारण्यकल्पद्रुमाध श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन Jamuna Tiro Banachari Jamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tiro Banachari Yamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jai Paramam Samparibrajacharya Sukhareshwar Smadhati Vitam Saraswati Swami Bhagavati Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhakti Jai Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavnath Samkand Radha Kundagiri Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai All glories to the All glories to the Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, you're welcome.
Single-handedly challenged for cheap.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dada Pranam, you're welcome Guru Maharaj to our platform. Happy New Year to you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, right. Every day.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So a new calendar starts today.
Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Ajamil. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Satarine. Okay, we're starting a new chapter. First canto, chapter 6, verse 1. Is that right?
Taking 1 and 2. because the purport is short.
It's a very nice chapter, of course, like all chapters. Okay, chant the sloka. Sutu vacha evanisham bhagavan divarshir janma karmacha bhuya prapachya tam brahman vyasa satyavati sutta. Now, how do you do this? You're going to join in, or the devotee's going to repeat, or just I do it, or what?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, what you repeat while they remain muted, because if you unmute everybody, then it's going to be echoing. Or if you want one person to respond, then we can do that.
Yeah, well, few people can respond.
Okay, Maharaj can respond. So only Bhaktisiddhanta Damodara Maharaj can respond. Maharaj, please, you can respond to Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
Vacha
Sutta Vacha
evam nishamya bhagavan
Evam Disamya Bhagavan
devarshir janma karma cha
Devarse Janma Karamacha
bhuya prapachya tam brahman
Bhuya Prapacha Tam Brahman
vyasa satyavati sutta.
Vyasa Satyavati Sutta
Sutu vacha
Sutta Vacha
evam nishamya bhagavan
Evam Disamya Bhagavan
devarshir janma karma cha
Devarse Janma Karamacha
bhuya prapachya tam brahman
Bhuya Prapacha Tam Brahman
vyasa satyavati sutta.
Vyasa Satyavati Sutta
Okay, a few others want to do it. Somebody
Sutta Vacha. Sorry.
got a call on them, Kavi.
Okay.
Maharaj chant, we will respond. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, please chant, we will respond.
Maharaj, go ahead.
Okay. Sutta Uvacha.
Sutta Vacha.
Evam Disamya Bhagavan.
Evam Nishamya Bhagavan.
Devarse Janma Karamacha.
Devarshi Janma Karmacha.
Bhuya Prapacha Tam Brahman.
Bhoya Prapachatam Brahman.
Vyasa Satyavati Sutta.
Vyasa Satyavati Sutta.
2 or 3 were leading. Okay. Sutu vacha. Sutu said. Evam. Thus. Nishamya. Hearing. Bhagavan. Powerful incarnation of
The powerful incarnation of God.
Devarshi. The great sage among
the God. Janma.
Somehow I'm getting an echo.
Yes.
So I'll turn off other things. Karma, work. Karma. Now we got no response. Haribol, what's happening?
I think our echo is gone now.
Okay, yeah. I didn't hear any response. So
Yes.
karma, work,
Karma.
ka,
Cha.
and,
And.
booyah,
Booyah.
again,
Again.
prapachchu,
Papacha.
prapachcha, ask,
Ask.
tum,
Tam.
him,
Him.
Brahman,
Brahman.
O Brahmanas,
Oh Brahmanas.
Vyasa,
Yasa.
Vyastev,
Vyasdev.
Satyavati Sutta,
Satyavati Sutta.
the son of Satyavati.
The son of Satyavati.
Sutta said, O Brahmana, having thus hearing all about Narada's birth and activities, Vyastev, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. Nobody's repeating it.
Sutta said, "O Brahmanas, those hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Yasdev, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows."
And purport. Vyastev was further inquisitive to know about the perfection of Naradaji, and therefore he wanted to know about him more and more. In this chapter, Narada will describe how he was able to have a brief audience with the Lord while he was absorbed in the transcendental thought of separation from the Lord, and when it was very painful for him. Okay, I'll comment a little bit on that one. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyanangana Shalakaya Chaksurmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaur Avani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunivari Paschachade Satarane Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So I'm asking for blessings of all of you. You can pray that Krishna will use me to say something that can inspire people. One of the most prominent Christian preachers in America, he's, like television all over the world and books are super bestsellers everywhere. When he's giving a sermon, he has a team, a prayer team, 5 people that pray for him to speak nicely. So he's got some humility. So we need that. Everybody needs blessings. That's why we, recite the parampara and we beg everybody to help us. And we can be connected to Krishna. And the devotees will give us mercy. That they have a strong desire to hear really Krishna Katha, which is in itself pious, and can cut all the knots in the heart. Punya Shavana Kirtana. Vidyanta Yavidanti. Vidunoti Surit. It's pious in itself. Sunvata Swakata Krishna, just hearing and chanting the Krishna's Leelas, Krishna's Katha, his pious activity, cuts the knot, all the material desires which are centered around sex desire, knotted up and, like a big mess if you're trying to run around on a knotted thing inside and outside. You don't know where you're going. There's no end, no beginning. So it can be cut, just like you can cut a knot and open it rather than trying to untie it. So Vyasa had heard about Narada, now he wants to know more. This is a natural tendency when you hear something about somebody that's very interesting, you want to hear more. So Narada, of course, everybody knows, he's our, we're all supposed to be followers of Narada. He's the first Bhagavatam preacher in the universe. Brahma created him out of his discrimination, the finer part of his intelligence, that the universe, besides needing these rishis that he had created first, that were, in charge of different types of yagyas and maintaining the material world and society and all these things, needed one person that simply has nothing to do except preach Srimad Bhagavatam. So immediately there was Narada Muni, and then he taught Narada Muni. Vasudeva heard the 4 seed verses from Krishna in the heart, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayaha. And then he expanded that, taught Narada in a few chapters in the 2nd canto. And then he told Narada, you go and preach. So ever since then, Narada's been traveling and preaching. And we find him, most prominent preacher in the Bhagavatam. So Narada is saying, this is something important, that he was able to have a brief audience with the Lord when he was absorbed in thought of separation. Here I heard Sachinandan Swami saying that you can't really chant with love until you feel separation. Of course, you can't feel separation unless you have love for something. Real separation, like the Goswamis are feeling, or Lord Chaitanya is feeling, Radharani is feeling, Krishna is feeling for Radharani. Like all the great devotees in our line, they're absorbed in separation. Where is Krishna? Hey Radhe, Vrajadevike, Chalalite, Hey Nanda Suno. Where is Krishna? Is he over here? Is he over there? They're running all over the place. It's like devotees running over trying to find Krishna in someone's heart that will inspire that person to respond. So it was very painful feeling separation, just like any lovers, but mostly people are feeling separation from a mundane thing that they're attached to. So it's not the same, but similar. But this is the main theme of all Krishna's pastimes, the gopis' separation when Krishna left Vrindavan, the Dwarka people when Krishna left Dwarka to go to Delhi and go to Hastinapur and even Vrindavan also. And so many things we can discuss. So that's the basic idea of that. So the whole chapter, Narada is describing his previous life, actually. A couple of devotees asked me recently how, they heard Narada is the son of a maidservant and he's son of Lord Brahma. How can that be? But they obviously didn't read the history. He was a maidservant's son in the previous life, but then in this life, he's the son of Lord Brahma. So Vyasuvacha Bhikshu Bir Vipravisate Vigyanad Drishtribhishtava Vartamano Vyasyadye Tatak Kim Akarod Bhavan. Vyasuvacha Bhikshu B, by the great mendicants, Vipravasite, having departed for other places. Vijnana, scientific knowledge and transcendence. Adrishti B, those who had instructed. Tava, of yore. Vartamanaha, present. Vayasi, of the duration of life. Adye, before the beginning of. Tata, after that. Kim, what? Akarod, did. Bhavan, your good self. Vyas said, what did you do after the departure of the great sages who instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? Now, this was a really long time before. We have no idea how long Narada lived after this, after he left home. it doesn't give any numbers. He obviously grew up and he was, because he traveled the whole world, it's mentioned. Purport: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Vyasadeva himself was a disciple of Naradaji. Therefore, it was natural and anxious to hear what Narada did about after initiation from the spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Narada's footsteps in order to attain the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process is technically known as Saddharma Pricha. So naturally, we like to hear about Prabhupada especially. And sometimes devotees had that special mercy, and then we have it historically. When someone was Prabhupada's servant, sometimes he'd call him in like 1 o'clock in the morning and just talk about his childhood and different things like that. So that's how we have some information. But mainly, we're interested in, well, Prabhupada's life, of course, is very special, but we like to hear it. Everybody likes to hear about their guru. In Africa, everybody wants to hear about Bhakti Tirtha Swami. I hear there's another book and Upala Prabhu made. I'd like to have one, but very fascinating, the lives of devotees. People ask me, I for myself, my life seems so dull and boring. I really don't feel like saying anything, but we have this great fortune that we're connected in the disciplic succession. So we like to hear about Narada also. We like to hear about Vyasadeva. We like to hear about all the acharyas. We like to hear their teachings. We like to hear their life. Main thing, though, is the teachings. But like I heard when, I think it was Bear Krishna Maharaj speaking, it, the Vani is more important than the Vapu. The association with the teachings, with the words, is more important than personal association. Prabhupada said that. There's many reasons for that. It's not that personal association is not good, but Prabhupada, his life was his teachings also. It's totally transparent. So it's important to know about his Vapu and what he did. Not only, what he wrote, what he did. So we're very fortunate that more and more people are recording, their different memories. A whole batch of new memories just came out, that the recorded interviews. They're very fascinating, and you just learn little things, but mainly about how Prabhupada interacted with everybody so individually, although the same. Chant Hare Krishna, are you chanting Hare Krishna? Very good. But at the same time, completely personal. And I got this book, this is a really nice book. It's Prabhupada's Mataji disciples and memories, their experiences with Prabhupada. Very intimate, and many of them was only a few minutes, not even that. But it completely transformed their life. One especially, she was cleaning Prabhupada's room, I guess in Vrindavan. They always cleaned Prabhupada's room when he went out for the walk. And so she had heard that Prabhupada, the bathroom floor was stained with mustard oil, and Prabhupada didn't like that. So she went in there and she got all that, an India Vim powder, and she was down on her knees and scrubbing the floor and all covered with soap. And Prabhupada came back early and he opened the bathroom door, and then he saw her and just said, "Can I come in?" So she said, "Of course, Prabhupada." And then she went out and left, soap tracks all over the room. And Prabhupada, she said when Prabhupada came out, didn't leave any footprints. And everybody know. I noticed that when I went on a walk with Prabhupada. He walked really fast, but it didn't look exactly like he was walking. He was just like floating along like he was on roller skates or something, but just moved, and it worked. If a devotee slowed down for a minute, they always have to run to catch. So Vyasadeva is curious about his guru, and it's of course a fascinating story. The whole story of Narada Muni's life, which here in this chapter, it's going to be the teachings. He already told about this. And I'm going to hear about, how he got his whole life, how you might know if you studied the Bhagavatam a little bit. Previous to this birth as a Sudra, Narada Muni was a Gandharva. He was a famous singer amongst the Gandharvas. So, and generally he was supposed to attend functions of the demigods and sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. But he was, honored by many women, especially like singers always are. And he got a little puffed up and he was singing demi-songs, like Bollywood or something. And he got cursed by some sage and cursed to be born as a Sudra. That's how he got this birth as a Sudra. And then that birth, he early on learned how to meditate on the Supreme. Traveling as a station, saw the world, so many things. And then he finally was able to get to darshan of the Lord. There's a lot of interesting things in the chapter, but we won't spoil it for you. But we have Narada here in the first canto. He's always showing up with the Pandavas. He's the one that got Kamsa to kill all the babies. He's a far out guy. Sometimes he makes trouble because he wanted to speed up Krishna's appearance. So he went and told Kamsa, you don't know, these demigods are tricky. And when they say the 8th child, it might be the 2nd one, might be the 4th one, might be the 1st one. You can't trust these demigods, so you better kill all these children one by one. So we did that. That way more children were coming, and then Krishna came. But he shows up with the Prachetas in so many different places, taught the sons of Daksha, teaching Vasudeva in the end there in the 10th canto. And so many, can't even think of all of them offhand, but he's always around Narada Muni. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj once in his Vyasa Puja, he said, Prabhupada is like a combination of Vyasa and Narada Muni, he said. Prabhupada is traveling all over, like just so much traveling, moving so fast, 2 or 3 days everywhere. But at the same time, writing so many books. And Vyasadeva wrote all these books. Narada traveled all over and taught the books. He didn't write books. But Narada's mystic power. He has a spiritual body, can go anywhere and go to Vaikuntha. We have many stories of him going to Vaikuntha and coming back. And, so I'm really glad to see this format going on, this group of African Hare Krishnas growing. Today's an experiment, right? Starting at a later time. Is that correct? 2 hours later, right? Yeah. Still got a pretty good crowd, but how many are in Africa? How many are, you know,
It's,
Ganga Prasad's in Bombay, right? And
generally, it's a festivity day, so people.
Deities in Lagos, congratulations. Been able to get out to the farm, I hope. And Kumasi, good. There's always a good crowd there. Looks like Kumasi's on fire from the reports I see. Charya Purandara. Jai. I can't read all of them. So anyway, let's see if you have any questions. Is Sahadev around today? The question man? Huh? Akuti Devi Dasi? Krishna Prema? Salika?
Yes, Gumaraj, I have a question, Gumaraj.
Okay.
Yes, you talk about devotee having some misunderstanding about the birth of Narada being a servant, maid servant son, and at the same time son of Lord Brahma. So where me are getting some misunderstanding is how, in what lifetime he became the son of Brahma and the son of maid servant, at the same time becoming a Kandava that fell down to attain his real position. So where are all these pastime? How can we put them into what do you call it? In order?
Not in the same lifetime. He left, you know, he previous birth. Because when he became the son of Lord Brahma, it's right in the beginning of the universe. There's nobody around, just those 7 rishis, the experience of Brahma. And Narada was next. It's a whole complete, he left the body, he left that universe even, or that millennium, or whatever it was. We don't have much time between, because it's all, for us, everything is inconceivable. We can't put it into, you know, any perspective that we can relate to by physics or, you know, mathematics or anything like that. But we want to be followers of Narada Muni. We can't imitate him and just go anywhere without a visa and without a ticket and, you know, without any fear of COVID. But we can follow Narada Muni, who's just teaching, you know, basic everything. Varnashram, he's teaching. When he's talking to Vasudeva in the end there, Narada Muni's very nice, you know, but basic in life, not only high spiritual things, but, you know, management of the society. Very deep things. Controlling anger and lust and greed and, you know, instructions for civilized human being, I think one chapter is called. And he's also preaching to the uncivilized human beings like us, giving us a chance, has caused us mercy. He's so dear to Krishna that just because he blessed Nalakavar and Manigriva, Krishna blessed him with prema. He told him, you don't deserve it. I would never pay any attention to you people at all. You're so degraded, but because Narada Muni wants, I'm doing it. So, okay. Any other question or comment? Let's see if it come to life here, because it's late in the day for everybody. So if you're in Africa, and it's night for the Americans, right? No.
Anyone else?
The East Coast of America, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. That's not too bad. Maybe they have to go to work.
I have another question. Like generally in the world now, everybody is celebrating New Year. When is Vaishnava New Year, and do we really participate in this New Year? Hello, Guru Maharaj.
Well, in the Western so-called Christian world, I think today is New Year. I don't know how I think the reason they made the January 1st New Year because it's close to Christmas and they can have an extended holiday. Excuse me, I had to turn off the air conditioner. So most New Year's, like for us, it's Gaur Purnima. You know, it's a spiritual day. For Hindus, it's Diwali. In China, it's the first day of spring, and you know they have all these different New Years in the world. But Prabhupada said, every day is a New Year because everything is always new and fresh for us. And if you look up Ever Fresh, and Prabhupada's, you know, there's just unlimited references to Ever Fresh, how Krishna is ever fresh. Everything about Krishna, chanting the holy name is ever fresh. The prasadam is always new life's experience. You know, hearing Krishna's Katha and Leela, everything is new and fresh all the time. So it's always a new year.
Hare Maharaj. My Dharma pranam to you, Maharaj. Yeah, thank you for your wonderful.
I can't hear you. Who is?
Can you hear me now, Maharaj?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I
was
somebody.
Just ask, I just want to ask a question regarding, like, you know, it's a new year, and then, you know, in the whole world, like generally, like a lot of people, they do.
Who's asking the question?
Dr. Mark is my name. Dr. Mark
Nice
is
to
my
meet
name.
you. Where are you?
Yeah,
Where are you?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Where are you?
I'm in Abuja.
Huh?
Right now in Abuja, but
Oh, really?
I'm from.
With Kavi?
Yes, Maharaj.
With Charlie Boy? Huh? With Charlie Boy? No?
No, good Lord. So
okay, what's the
actually
question?
I actually want to ask, like, you know, generally, like a lot of people, they do have like a New Year resolution, and you know, devotionally, or I say like in Krishna consciousness, all our consciousness should be towards Krishna, and then not to like, you know, conceiving these mundane resolutions like, oh, I want to get more money, I want these, I want that, stuff like that. So would we be quite undevotional to like have this New Year resolution, like, oh, I want to achieve this, or rather to leave everything to Krishna to make true?
There's a few articles on Dandabats and stuff about New Year's resolutions. One time I was in Chopati and they asked me to give the Sunday talk or the Friday talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't remember what I said, but statistics show that almost all resolutions are broken by the 17th of January that people make because they make, you know, unreal resolutions. The same resolution all the time, every day. You know, I'm going to try today to be a good devotee. I'm going to try to work and I give it to my spiritual master and Krishna, you know, and I can do something to help the movement, help other people come to Krishna consciousness. We should pray that Krishna has helped me this year, every year. Every day is a new year. It's not like just one day is a new year. I know when I was high school, I never liked the New Year. It seems so stupid in America. Just an old acquaintance, me forgotten. I could never figure out what they were talking about. Then they'd make a bunch of fireworks at midnight, and everybody drunk, and then the next day everybody's laying around hungover watching a football game. I just thought it was a totally stupid thing. And my friends, we would want to get drunk, but we just stay and get drunk because it was so dangerous outside. Every drunken people driving, and you know, that world is so crazy the way that celebrate the New Year by just totally stupid. The devotees, we also go out many in America and different places in midnight because so many people are out partying. We go out for Harinam and then they join in and he's happy and dancing and and then they get the Sukriti of joining the Harinam party. But we should make resolutions all the time that I will try harder. Please, Krishna, help me, to be a good devotee, to do something to help Srila Prabhupada's mission. It's the only thing the world needs. All these so-called problems of the world are just due to ignorance. So Prabhupada says every day is a new year. Nava Nitya Navana Yovana. Our Krishna consciousness is so nice. The more you advance, you see new year, new year. That's all. Nothing is old. People are saying they are simply chanting the old slogan, Hare Krishna. But we are feeling new pleasure at every moment. The Hare Krishna mantra we can chant perpetually because there's new enlightenment. How we can do that? We can preach here, and then we are starting here. By the 14th, we shall go together to India. So, it's always new. Krishna is new and ever fresh.
Thanks, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next.
So, Ganga Prasad Prabhu wants to ask a question. Please
All right,
submit yourself.
Right.
Obeisances at your lotus seat, Maharaj. All glories to Guru and Goranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for the lecture. In the course of your lecture, you mentioned about Prabhupada mentioning. In the course of the lecture, you referred to Prabhupada's statement about Vapu and Vani, and that the instructions is more beneficial than the physical presence. But in the ISKCON world of today and guruship, there are many gurus who have so many disciples that many of the disciples can't even assess them and are not getting instructions on how to remember or serve based on their instructions. So how do devotees become fixed in devotional service in this kind of situation?
Well, desire. If they want it, they can get it. Very many of Prabhupada's disciples never saw Prabhupada. If they did, they saw him only once in their life for a day or two. And they're still going on. Of course, we had Prabhupada's books. So hopefully we as Prabhupada's representatives and, Prabhupada's founder, Acharya, we're doing everything we can to direct disciples to read Prabhupada's books and get guidance. Nowadays, with all this, practically everybody's online giving classes all the time, and there's very few people who are not able to access the internet. So it's not impossible. The Vapu, direct association, that's what Vapu means. You're actually with the person bodily, and serving personally like that. That's, no matter what, is very limited how many people can do that at one time. But the Vani, and like Prabhupada said, his books are better than him because they're always present. The books are everywhere. They're going everywhere in the world, maybe the universe, maybe they're everywhere in the universe. And now by this phenomena of the internet, everybody can go everywhere. So like Jayapataka Maharaj has 50,000 initiated disciples. 30,000 of them are in Bangladesh. But they have a lot of good leaders. They have a lot of, people guiding them and directing them. That's how Prabhupada worked. He had to entrust us to GBC men and other leaders, and he had to entrust the movement to all of us, and we have to entrust it to all of everybody else. So, but the knowledge goes on. But when someone asked Prabhupada, Shuji Kirti was in the car, came running up when the car was just moving out, said, Prabhupada, how can I make advancement? Prabhupada just said, desire. So those who really want it, they will get it. Krishna will guide them from within, and he'll connect them with someone who can connect them or help them. You need many shiksha gurus. We always have to stress that. Someone's very neophyte, they think they have only one guru and no one else can tell them anything, and they have to wait, for that guru to personally guide them. It won't happen in this day and age. We don't have like village gurus where they've just got some ashram out in the jungle and have a few disciples living with them. This is Prabhupada's movement, and it's a whole phenomenon, the whole history of the universe. But it's there. We're trying to stress so much. We want everyone to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Even if gurus will write books, but they tell their disciples, you read my Prabhupada's books more, because you can't understand anything without the basis. Prabhupada books are very, very special. And now we have all these, memories of Prabhupada and videos of Prabhupada doing things and, conversations recorded. He was very careful to make sure everything was recorded. From the very beginning when he had nothing, he had a tape recorder that weighed about 20 kilos. He would make sure they brought that down and all the lectures. And miraculously, even though all these crazy devotees he had that came and went, they saved all those tapes. And then they preserved them, transferred them into digital now, and cleaned them up, the ones where you couldn't even hear what was going on, with digital technology. So Krishna is helping all of us, making so much available. And then we have so many devotees like Bhaktivedanta Swami preaching all over the place and inspiring so many people, and so many others. We can go on and on, but always we're pushing Prabhupada's books. That we want, no matter what, we want people to read those books. We want people to hear Prabhupada's lectures, and they're so easily available now everywhere. Does that make sense? You reading Prabhupada's books? Ganga? Huh?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm doing.
Is your daughter still there, Giri?
She's here with me.
Yeah, she's still trying to go to Mayapur?
For now, she's not going for certain logistics issues. We are here together for safety and for economy. We are both here together.
Yeah, I think that's the best. Are you able to go to the temple?
For now, no, because my location is a little bit distant from the temples. It's only Mira Road that I can easily go to, and then they have regulated darshan for now. But within the year, I've discussed with the authorities in Chopati, in GEV. I may have to go over sometime, spend a night or two, associate with devotees, and go back to where I'm hibernating. That's the arrangement we have now. But I'm reading, I'm attending to basic devotional things, chanting, taking prasadam like this.
Mira Road has more devotees, more congregation than Juhu, I think.
Yeah, even the Chopati devotees, they all converge around Mira Road. Mira Road is like a hub. It has many devotees, especially because of the Bhaktivedanta Hospital. Many devotees are here.
Yeah. Krishna's special arrangement, because at one point there was no much connection between the Chopatis and the and ISKCON. But both of them were looking for a place. The devotees around Mira Road, they had a small house or something. They were looking for a place for a temple, and the Chopatis were looking for a place for the hospital. And then without knowing each other or anything, they both found a place right down the road from each other. So they ended up becoming very close. Krishna has all kinds of ways of arranging things. Okay.
My second question, Maharaj.
And
You said,
Giridhari is becoming very popular, you know, singing.
thank you, Maharaj.
All right.
My second, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah.
My second question, Maharaj. You mentioned that all resolutions are broken by the 20th of January.
17th.
And
That's
I'm
the
deducing
statistic.
that there's a need of determination and enthusiasm to keep it. So my question
Yeah,
was
it's
sure,
not all.
it's a
It's just
very
most. With a
robust.
high percentage of resolutions, when they check people, they don't keep it past the 17th of January because they make very whimsical resolutions, planning out how to follow through. And hopefully devotees are different and they make resolution to, try every day to be a better devotee than the day before, to be something, to try to hang in there.
My question is, how do we culture very robust enthusiasm and determination to keep our resolutions, even if it has to do with devotional practice?
Most important thing. And like, it doesn't have to be Vapu necessarily, especially nowadays. Many of us are getting much more association through this internet system than we ever got, personal association with others. Hearing, we hear and chant and pray for help. I just reading about a Jamil, and when the Vishnu Dutas were explaining why he couldn't be taken by the Yamadutas, they said because he was calling out helplessly, that for Narayan, he wasn't pure, but he was free from offense because he was just helpless. He wasn't thinking of anything. He wasn't asking for anything particularly. He was just calling out the name of Narayan. So we have to have that feeling of separation and pray, but hearing and adding, and that's why he part is especially important, because he was obviously empowered to affect the whole world, and he's the founder acharya. So the founder acharya is a very rare term. Ramanuja is a founder acharya, and Bhakti Siddhanta, Rabindranath Swarup said probably if he would have got to America, he would have taken that title, but he didn't. They called him the founder president of the Gaudiya Math. Prabhupada gave himself that title and stressed it that it has to be in every book, it has to be a signboard on the outside of every temple, it has to be on every letterhead, every envelope, everything we do, every correspondence. To remember, no one else can be the founder acharya. It's a special position, and everybody gets a connection. So we have so much facility now to be connected. We have all the books, we got even just online, you got all the lectures and all the, conversations and that's important, but also to associate and make plans for preaching, because that's what it is us. And trying to spread the holy name and seeing someone else. Like today, somehow or other, like I'm here in Bali, kind of stranded, and I don't know the language, so, and we're very restricted about preaching at the moment outside of our small circle of friends. But I met a few Englishmen, and I think one was an American. They're all nice, but I got all excited, but then they're all too busy and moved far away and everything. So the one I gave him Bhagavad Gita, and he was nice. He had many good questions and quite submissive. And then he moved. Not so, but it's not only 1 hour away, but that I don't have my own motorbike and I don't know the way around it. So I wrote him and said, "How are you doing?" But I never heard from him. And then finally today he answered, and he said, "I'm sorry, but I was busy with this and that." And he read the Bhagavad Gita and he really liked it. So then I became really happy. I felt new life, like my life is worthwhile. And he wants me to again. So, those things give us life, but we don't always get instant results. But we have to preach to devotees also, and enliven each other. Bodhayantas cha parasparam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The devotees become satisfied and blissful by always enlightening one another and talking about me. So it's all right there in the Bhagavad Gita. But the main thing, nothing works without prayer. You can go now online and there's so many counselors and advisors and just anybody telling you how you can get free of all your past traumas and how you can forgive this and do that. And, you can do what's never been done. You can win what's never been won. But that all depends on karma. But for devotees, technique is okay. Okay, there's techniques how to do things. But without prayer, nothing will work. Without begging Krishna, without feeling I have absolutely no hope other than Krishna. And when will I really feel that way? I know that that's how I should feel, but when? Like Rupa Goswami says, I have no qualification, I have no good birth, I have no ability to follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, no interest, but I'm hoping against hope for the mercy of the Lord. So that's the basic idea. Is that right? Go, Damodar Maharaj. Haribol? Can you say something, please? I don't hear you.
Yes, I'm opening my muting.
Okay, all right.
I was going to.
So enliven us a little bit. I need help.
I was going to ask a question, Maharaj.
All right.
My question is about so proper disciples. They think of Krishna, do good puja for Prabhupada. We think of him because he's a pure devotee. So we think of him. I'm worried about how we are also now the culture of a proper position. So you don't think of your guru because you're not pure. You don't think about Prabhupada. So what will happen to those of us who are not having Prabhupada as a spiritual master?
We all have Prabhupada as a spiritual master.
Diksha Guru.
Not Diksha, but Shiksha, Diksha is important. We can't say we don't need Diksha and become Ritvik or something, but Shiksha is also very, we have to take Shiksha from everybody. Prabhupada's our main guide. So I know many so-called second generation disciples that seem to have a much more close relationship than Prabhupada than I do. They dream about Prabhupada. They're constantly studying his, his life, and their classes are just full of all Prabhupada examples and everything. They're very lined up, and they're preaching so dynamically, and spreading the movement so much. So, they're connected. And so it's not restricted only that Diksha, Diksha is very important. For, one reason is that the disciple, commits himself, promises, and that's very important. And that pleases Krishna, that surrender and that commitment, and gives us a much stronger connection with the parampara. So we can take from everybody, but Prabhupada distilled all the teachings of all the previous acharyas perfectly in his books. So we're trying to present that to everybody. And some are picking up on it really, really strongly and boldly preaching all over the place and making many disciples also. So anyway, Prabhupada, Krishna makes all the arrangements. So Prabhupada had many Diksha disciples that don't follow and went away and become inimical to Prabhupada's movement and everything. When we had the anniversary in Vrindavan, or the 40th anniversary of the temple, a lot of devotees came that were initiated by Prabhupada, but now they're fanatically following some other guru, some other, Gaudiya Math. And Smarahari Prabhu, I think you know him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was like the guard at the door of the prasadam for the Prabhupada disciples. And he told some of them, you can't come in, And they were really angry. And he said, they said, I'm Prabhupada disciple. He said, you're initiate by Prabhupada, you're not disciple. And he came in, he said, you think it's all right? I said that. We all said, yeah, it's true, because they're out promoting, this one or that one, Maharaj, and, basically thinking that somebody else has got more to offer than Prabhupada, and then they want to come and associate so they can look for someone else to. But all of you have this connection with Prabhupada through the parampara. It comes from hearing, that's the main thing. Hearing and repeating. And so we have the books, especially. And by distributing the books, you connect with Prabhupada very intimately. I wish I could get back to that. I remember one of the first times I went for Sankirtan, I went door to door with Back to Godhead magazines. I was very new and I didn't know anything. And I personally, I never had the propensity to talk to strangers or anything. I thought the last thing in my life I would ever want to be is a salesman. I just thought there could be no worse occupation than a salesman. But I was going door to door with these Back to Godhead, and I was thinking, wow, this is fantastic. I'm introducing people to Prabhupada. I got so much mercy. I can introduce people to Prabhupada. And everybody was taking the magazine from me. But I lost that ecstasy. Now I have to grind it out. But this is our business. All right?
Yes,
So
Maharaj.
how have you maintained your enthusiasm and keep preaching all this time? For many years, right? Is there some secret technique, or is it just causes mercy, or is it because of your special qualifications, or what is the reason? Because especially there in West Africa, they went through some really difficult times. So the devotees who stuck it out, they're definitely getting a lot of mercy. Now it's, seems to be quite stabilized and moving ahead, not, slowly but surely, which is much better than rushing into, something unknown. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
We have a question in the chat room. I don't know, maybe you want me to read it, or you are going to.
Yeah, please.
Okay, George Omega is saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please, how many months do we have in Vedic calendar? Among, we have Ewe in Ghana, we have 13. So please, I would like to know Vedically, how many do we have in Vedic like that?
Generally, there's 12 months. They're lunar months. But then a couple years, there's an extra month. This year there was one. This year there's 13 months to make up, just like in the Gregorian calendar, they have I don't know when, February, they add a couple of days or something. I can't remember what it is, but they have to make up for the calendar not exactly matching the movements of the sun. So that's why this year there's 13. It's like every 2 or 3 years or something. There's an extra month, and it's at a different time. It comes different times of the year, in between other months, in the middle of different months, overlapping. That's how that calendar works. That is a calendar for most cultures, in the ancient cultures of the world, is a lunar calendar. The solar calendar is something that came quite recently from Europe and the Christians, mostly by the moon, which is very, fixed. The moon just goes 28 days, 28 days, 28 days, right? Never misses. You can count.
Triple Prabhu is writing, Gurudev, please accept my dear, deep, respectful obeisance. Thank you for the constant discipline and the enthuse to carry on. That is his comment.
Now in Vrindavan, he's going to the universities and stuff, giving classes. But we want to get all these native Africans back. No, seriously, get everybody working. So I see Kavi's got a few recruits there, huh? 2. Who's there with you?
It's my brother, Gogovinda.
Oh yeah?
It's my brother. Yeah.
Well, good. He's staying with you or what?
No. He's working with me. He's not staying with me. He's working with me.
Oh yeah, in Abuja, huh? Okay, build up Abuja to be the biggest temple in Nigeria. All right, so thank you all very much. And Chaitanya Prema, I see you there. And Gayatri Devi, where are you now? Chakra Dynasty, who's that?
Please, I'm in Ghana, please.
Yeah, where are you? Still teaching? School is open?
Yes, Gurudev.
What?
No, please. They
What
say in
city?
January they will be opening. Accra.
Okay, who's Chakra Dynasty?
Yes, Gurudev.
Huh? I did not simply mute yourself. Chakravarti Nancy, please unmute yourself.
It's just like this, you know. Okay, where are you? Where are you?
I'm in the US, Maharaj.
Where?
Gitanagri.
Oh, really? That's your name, Chakra Dynasty? Or?
I'm Hari Chakra.
Hari Chakra from Ghana, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, well, good. Radha Damodar Ki Jai. I had them in my preaching center in Louisville.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
I had them on my bus before they went to Gitanagari, Radha Damodar. I sent them. Okay, thank you all very much. I see you have
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Please,
my Dudi Swami book. Everybody unmute. Everybody unmute and chant the holy name.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Jai Gurudev.
Okay, bye-bye.
Gurudev.
Hare